No way. No way. You mean I am the hero that the legend spoke of? Are you serious? That is so awesome! You are the chosen one. Accepted. The world has been orchestrated from the beginning into a grand apocalypse so that you can save it, if you so choose.
Hi everyone, Kason here. Have you ever noticed how similar main characters in movies, books, and video games are to one another? Well, that's no accident. In Storytelling Tropes, we're going to be exploring cliche storytelling methods, also known as tropes. What they are, why they're useful, how they can sometimes become annoying, and also where they came from. Let's dive in. Today is all about prophecies, heroes, and legends.
The prophecy is a bit of religious terminology referring to the foretelling of events. Something like, from the ashes a fire shall be woken, a light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall be blade that was broken, the crownless again shall be king. This line from The Lord of the Rings is a perfect example of a prophecy that is later fulfilled by Aragorn. With the disguise and changed name and all that, it wasn't actually all that obvious at first that this was the last king of Gondor. And we definitely didn't think that Frodo was going to fulfill this one. So let's compare this literary example to one from a video game. When the snow tower lies sundered, kingless, bleeding, the World Eater wakes, and the wheel turns upon the last Dragonborn. Honestly, was there ever a question about who this Dragonborn was going to be? It's clear from the moment the prophecy is heard that you are going to be controlling the Dragonborn, master of spells, defeater of evil. Yeah, well, I had better be the chosen one. I bought the game for a reason. Don't let me down, game. What's the point of me controlling anyone other than the Dragonborn? Why, after hearing the prophecy, would you be controlling anyone else? Why, in a movie, would you be watching anyone else? This is an important question. Books may be a slight exception, as the visualization is entirely in the mind of the readers. But for visual mediums, if there is a prophecy to be fulfilled, should we really be viewing it through anyone else's lens than the hero themselves? I mean, a prophecy is like a destiny. People want to believe that they have some sort of destiny. Even from a purely biological perspective, we humans are the result of billions of years of successful evolution, avoiding premature death and surviving long enough to pass genes down for an unbelievably long time. A pure, unbroken chain of successful organism after successful organism go all the way back to the beginning of all life on Earth. Billions of years of defying odds so minuscule that our brains can't even imagine. Everything that has ever happened in the history of Earth, and even before the Earth was formed, has somehow led up to the biggest decisions you've ever made in your life up to this point. And the decisions you make here will have a ripple effect for ages to come, influencing the world and its inhabitants into the distant future. But there is definitely something about our lives and relationship to the universe that we can't comprehend. We are special. It's just that some of us are destined for different things.
You know what date is on this coin?
No.
1958. It's been traveling 22 years to get here. And now it's here. And it's either heads or tails. And you have to say, call it.
We make fun of movies and games that do this, but understanding our character's destiny in the form of a prophecy, as they search and try to figure it out for themselves, has been a powerful storytelling tool for a long, long time. And we know that it's our character's destiny because all legends are true. So the legend is true. I've always wanted to say that. Only a few times in my life has it actually happened, and even then the more proper line would be, so the rumors are true. Whenever you play a game, watch a movie, or read a book, if there's a legend in there, it's true. It actually happened or will actually happen, so don't be so surprised when it happens. To get to the heart of the issue though, why are all legends true? Well, what's the point of sharing a legend in a story if it isn't true? At least true in some way. Long ago, the elders, prophets, and storytellers in a tribe would gather everyone together and share with them stories of the great beyond. We still do it today, though there's an underlying understanding that most of what we're seeing on screen did not and cannot ever actually happen. Yet, even still, our minds suspend our disbelief. We want to believe that what we're seeing is real. It's why we're so drawn to movies and television. There is a certain pragmatism to the suspension of disbelief. As a Cherokee legend advises, when a rattlesnake is killed, the head must be cut off and buried arm's length deep underground, lest the snake in its anger send forth torrents of destruction upon its killer. This can be seen as a purely fictional tale, as the burial of a snake head can have no real effect on torrents or destruction or anything for that matter. However, it has been discovered by many unfortunate people that snakeheads can actually still bite long after they're severed from their bodies. People have died from this. Now, all of a sudden, a new perspective can be applied to the Cherokee legend. Were you to believe and follow the advised steps, you could avoid the potentially deadly result of a headless snake biting you, your friend, your children, or even livestock on which you depend. Is the legend then true? You better act like it is. Suspension of disbelief when it comes to these types of stories often lead people to live longer than their more curious counterparts, who want to find out exactly why a seemingly harmless, severed head snake must be buried arm's length into the ground. Sacrificing realism and logic for the sake of enjoyment is one thing. Sacrificing realism and logic to help you and your tribe live longer, that's something else. Something probably much more important than the entertainment value we derive through it all these years later. Remember, you are the product of successful evolution over the course of billions of years. Any way our ancestors could try to lengthen their lives and the lives of those around them likely directly led to you even existing in the first place. But even a legend as simple as dragons exist outside the boundaries of our tribe is enough to keep the most children safe and accounted for until they grow up. And when they grow up, never having said, "So the legend is true." 'Cause, geez, that just never happens. They sure better do their descendants a favor and share the same legend with their own kids. Legends being true is a staple of storytelling. Let's be honest, if our character starts the game out as a perfectly established hero, level 99, knows all the summons, 100% confident that they can get the job done, there isn't really much of a story. The character arc was fulfilled long before we even met the guy, which means the plot will be lacking a rising action. The character arc turns from this to this. See the climax? You see it? It's that tiny, tiny little part right there. Can you see it? You can't? Well, that's because it doesn't exist. Without progression, a rising action, a metaphorical move upwards towards a figurative goal, there can't be a climax. Our character will come out of the fight no stronger than he went in, and will have learned nothing in the process. One Punch Man, you are an exception. Most stories told like this fall flat, because they are flat. Flat characters are boring, so we usually try to round them out in one of two ways. One, Luke Skywalker. Eager to help, though kinda useless at first, not the smartest, strongest, or most interesting character, but he listens to his elders most of the time, and gradually works to become the hero he knows he can be while rarely being tempted to do evil. The new Disney movies don't count here. Then we have number 2, Han Solo. Okay, I haven't seen Disney's newest Solo movie, and I don't really care to. I'm just going on the original trilogy here. Han Solo is a law-breaking, self-interested, money-motivated, womanizing mercenary with friends in low places. He gets caught up in the fight against evil by complete accident in his pursuit of money. However, he eventually ends up doing the right thing, saving the day multiple times and abandoning his self-interested motivations in favor of self-sacrifice, taking extreme risks to make the universe a better place by the end of the 6th film. Either way you look at it, we have somebody who is, at the start, not a hero. They gradually learn to overcome their own weaknesses and become the kinds of people stories can be told about for a long time to come. The concept of zero to hero is the maximization of the rising action portion of a story arc or character development. If an established hero fights and defeats a bad guy, we have a flat line. If a middle-class kid from decent parents with a pretty clear vision for his future becomes a hero, it's slightly more motivating. However, if we drop the starting point to literally 0, by contrast, the peak of the arc seems incredibly steep and dynamic, almost too dynamic. That's why even the non-fictional stories we see on the news or hear from our friends tend to exaggerate this type of arc. It's so amazing and difficult to go from rags to riches that we're all inspired by stories where that kind of thing happens. The basic narrative structure of both fiction and non-fiction alike thrive on this kind of architecture. So it's no surprise that most games you play, books you read, movies you watch will opt for this type of story. Even this book, wherever you want to place it on the fiction to non-fiction spectrum, it's everywhere. So prevalent, in fact, that it can get a little old at times. Does every superhero's parents need to die? Is it okay to have a story arc that looks like this every once in a while? Well, not if you're looking to maximize your profits, it's not. People want to see other people get knocked down, pick themselves back up, and achieve their dreams. Because we think that if they can do it in their most dire moments, that means that we can too. This trope is heavily ingrained in the human thought pattern. It's not going anywhere. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Storytelling tropes and cliches are really important. They're kind of archetypes and structural patterns that we see in classical storytelling, and things that I don't necessarily think should go away. And I hope you kind of get the idea of where I'm trying to take this. I'm not just pointing out what these tropes are, but how they came to be. Why they're actually more important than they may seem on their surface. Why they're actually more the products of our biology and our human nature than we previously would have thought. Certain stories are interesting and some are dull and boring. And whether a story resonates with you or not, sometimes comes down to your DNA. Thanks for watching. I hope you really liked the video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.